Hello, hello. Welcome back. Adobe Flash Web and Mobile Development with Polko. Can everyone hear me? Yes or no on the chat? All right, good. Okay, let me just share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Okay, good. All right. Did everyone get the file that Sarah sent around last week? Yes or no? Did everyone see how it works? Yes or no's would be good. All right. Does anyone need some assistance before we go on further, just to catch up of what we did to the file? We changed little things around. All right. We should go back, yes or no? We can spend maybe 5 minutes on that, but we changed things around. Instead of using different scenes, we actually used different frames. Okay, so let me just do it quickly. Skateboarding dude. All right. Let's get it. So I'm sorry we had to miss Tuesday's class. We'll make it up by the death in the family. So not close, but so sorry we had to miss it. Okay, so sorry about that. Okay, so we'll launch Flash again. Okay, so does everyone see a little button? Does everyone get the packs with the little button in there? Just make sure everyone sees this in the first frame. All right, so things I added. So we're going to be using the Skateboard Dude project as our next level of using PHP to go and put the high scores. Like you won't go into a video game arcade, see high scores when you're before there. And so our goal is to we're going to use a database to persist to store all the different names and high scores of all the players. So, but here's pretty much we're going to use this template here, how we set it up to do that. So, so if I'd run it, we go test movie, and so pretty much, skateboard is going to be there, and that big white frame piece in the middle, we're going to have a grid, a list box full of people's names and high scores, and that'll be, we're going to start that today. But we click to play, we start, we do the same thing, we jump. And I put the health down to 3 or 4, so we wouldn't be here all day. So, game over, loser, your score is 0. And the database, based on your score, you'll be entered, if your score is, within the high score table, the button is, do you want to save your scores in the high score table? And you click on the button, it will then save in the database, and then you know what I'm talking about. Sure, let's see, you press the restart button, goes back to the beginning. So what was very different and interesting is here is that what I did was I actually added a movie to the button over here. So let me go edit. So what I do is I click on the button, and I say I use edit. And so here the button's on the screen, and we just quickly and put the action on frame. Press the play. Hold on, let me get there. And so here we have is the event over here for the actual movie clip for the button. And so here, so here, this is the actual action script that actually controls the movie, which we'll call on the outside. So the first thing is we set up the frame here as a global to the movie here. We can code this up in many ways here. I'm just trying to show you the unique ways of doing that. And I press stop. And I put a stop variable there. So when this movie gets played in the first frame, it will stop here. And then I have a function called register. And I have a function called a mouse click handler. So what I'll be doing here is that the goal here is that when I'm in the middle frame during the game, I'm going to turn the alpha down to 0. Alpha makes things disappear. That's one of those things that you have. Alpha makes disappear. So for example, if I click on the button over here and I go to properties, so here I go to properties of anything, and if I click on style alpha, so I'm talking to you quickly, let me know. So here we have the alpha button over here, and I can take any object or movie clip and adjust the alpha. So for example, and the alpha is 0, you don't see it anymore, that's like disappears. And the alpha, so alpha 0 disappears, as you can see nothing on the screen, or alpha, as I move it to 100%, you'll see it comes back. And so any object, graphic, etc., you can change the color effect by making it disappear. It's always there, but you just don't see it. So I'm actually going to put it back to none again. So I'm going to click on color effect, and I'll put it back to none. But any type of symbol, screen's not refreshing. All right, okay. So any symbol you can actually program the actual symbol here. So here in the code here, I put so in the function register, when I call this function register in the frame, I said if this.l is equal to 1. So I'm gonna make it equal to 100%, and then I'm gonna say button play game, which is the button is the name of the button. The green button is called button play game. I'm going to add event listener mouse click, and that's the function fl mouse click handler, and I'm going to set the frame that I want it to be set in. So and then when I click on the button, the function gets handled. I then remove the event listener on the button. I set it to 0, and I tell the main movie clip to go on and play frame 1. So it's gonna start playing the movie again, which we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back in the movie again, in terms of in the game. So key thing here. So in the third frame, where I press the button, I'm going to go back. So here I use it over here in the last frame, and I say, what? So I use so in the third frame I stop. Our game's over. I put your high score up, and I say play game register. And what I'm saying is when I click the button, register for the first frame. Go back to go back to the first frame. So question is, what function registers the frame? So I just use the function named register, but you can use the function anything you want to. So I pass that number in over here. So I'm calling this function within the MC within the movie clip. Call MC play game register 1. I mean it's going to go back to the first frame and call the function. So let's go back in there. And you see when I call register, it's going to set the frame number, set the alpha equal to 1, set the mouse button handler, and then set the frame so so the move goes back in place. So I did this way to show you that we can use some private variables within the actual movie clip itself, and we can set the button itself. So I mean, there's many ways how to set up this particular button style of doing things. Adobe ActionScript is very flexible, and so here we use a button. We use a button and the functionality throughout both of the different frames in the beginning and the end of the movie. Ouch. I don't know what that's from. Visual Studio. The system is shutting down. Please save all work in progress. That doesn't sound so happy here. My Window's about to shut down. That's pretty funny. All right, I'm going to close Windows quickly, and we'll come back in there. I'll keep on talking. Let me just save my work here. So I think that's pretty much. Any more questions? No, don't save it. Man, what's going on here? Okay, so skateboard dude, SKD. So let me just close all these out. So today's lesson is we're going to start with PHP a little bit. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, let me just, I'm going to close this off. Turn off computer. I'm going to restart the computer. And then we're going to come back in. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Sorry about that. And I'll share the application once I come back in. So, so let me share. I'll show you. Share my desktop here. So really, review. Let's go single window. So I'm sharing my desktop with you guys. So I'm really on a Mac machine running VMware. And I'm not sure why it actually closed out. So wait till my Windows logs back in. Give me a couple seconds. Okay, so it's going to go there. Okay, let me just stop sharing that. Share my VMware Fusion. Thank you very much from the crowd there. Okay, am I sharing my application? All right, let's get back to full screen. Chat it. All right. All right. So where were we? So I'm not sure why it closed down. So today we're going to start learning PHP. So in order to do all this web stuff with PHP, we're going to have to start understanding a little bit more about the web server pieces here. And so Easy PHP is a local web server running on your machine. Like, for example, if you don't know much about web servers, when you're over the net, you do www.whatever.com. It attaches to a web server. Apache is a web server. IIS is a web server. Tomcat is a web server. Each of those things do different things. The basic server is a basic HTML server. It just produces HTML pages. And then there's HTML is a tag-based language, and along the way they've made a bunch of changes to the HTML to make it actually dynamic. JavaScript, HTML, where you could do other things within the basic HTML tags. If you ever looked at HTML before, you can do tables, you can do, you can write things in HTML tags, and so it's pretty interesting. And along the years, they made JavaScript or DHTML to actually make it more dynamic. And so, and part of that, it's very difficult to program HTML for doing for interesting stuff. So along the way, they did CGI, which I think is Common Computer Gateway Interface or something. I don't know, but it's a way how to actually do this in a dynamic way. So Perl was another programming language. People made HTML pages, and then along the way, then came out languages like PHP, which is a very quick scripting language, and it's pretty simple to do. It's very powerful. a lot of major web companies use PHP. It's very simple to connect to different databases or files and do things. And you'll see it's very simple. You have to understand it's sort of backwards. It's like, speaking Chinese in some respect. But once you understand how to speak Chinese, it's very simple. It's getting the syntax of the programming language. A lot of major companies, I've said, used PHP for a long time. Facebook, when I started up, it did Perl, then it went to PHP, Ruby on Rails, and other type of scripting language. And you'll see that a lot of the basic web servers like Apache could actually run PHP. So the concept that you have a web server and it runs a programming language inside of it is a very key thing. So the basic things in the old days were that you had web servers that they'd run basic HTML, but along the way they became better and they run programming languages in there, like very quick type of scripting programming languages. IS is also basic HTML, but then they have a thing called ASP.NET and other type of things where that's a web server that runs .NET inside the web server, so you can actually write .NET pages, or you use a .NET language like C# or VB.NET, and you can write little server-side plugins to make the web page, and then it will actually run those things inside the web browser and send you back a page. Pretty much using HTML. And the same thing, with Perl. Things like Tomcat is another basic web server, but that's a little more different. So there's other, higher-end programming languages like Java. And if you want to run Java within a web server, so you'd have to use a thing called Tomcat. Also IIS could run it as well, but Tomcat by Apache is actually one of the best, or Jetty, these type of names. These are web servers that are very, very small and they're very efficient. Like, in real business, they have Linux machines. They have large scale Linux machines with quad-core machines around 16 gigs of memory, and they can run over 10,000 Apache instances of these things in Linux. So you can imagine that big companies run these things when you get a hosting account somewhere. You could actually, you got a little hosting account, but you're running on a major server with everyone else. And because it's Linux Apache, it can be very, very small. It's like takes an 8K type of, it's 8K or smaller when you come to running these things. Well, if you look in Windows, if I open the Task Manager up, and I look at the, performance here, you'll see the basic Windows, kernel map is 156 megabytes. It's huge. So imagine running 8 kilobytes in memory to run a basic web server. So you can see why people use Apache Tomcat to run these things. It's very small. And so the new versions of Windows 2008 have, made, much progress in running, IES in a much smaller, memory partition or kernel. So a lot of the stuff in Windows is like graphical. So that's why it takes a lot of memory up. So there you go. So Easy PHP is what it's called, is actually called a LAMP or WAMP. So it's a concept. A WAMP is Windows, W, A is Apache, M is MySQL, and P is called PHP. So anywhere you go, if you Google WAMP, that's for Windows. If you Google MAMP, that's for Macintosh, Mac. If you Google LAMP, it's Linux. And, there are all different things over there. So Easy PHP is a very common WAMP. It has all the ingredients you would need when you have an hosting account. So it has Apache web server, which is a basic HTML web server with PHP built in. It has MySQL, so you have a database built in, and you have PHP built in. So it's all built in together, and it's all set up for you out of the box. And when you have a hosting account somewhere, you actually get these all set up for you already. So it's out of the box. If it's IES or Apache, it doesn't make a difference. You always have a basic hosting account, which pretty much you just push a few buttons, and the database is set up for you, or etc. But you don't really know it's running in Windows or Apache, whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Easy PHP. So we're going to go to our program files, and we're going to launch Easy PHP. I hope everyone installed it. And so this is going to run a local web server on our machine. So let me just click on that. So what's going to happen is that you're going to see in your task icon box, task tray is called, in your lower right-hand corner, you have an icon for Easy PHP Started. And so I get this here, can't reach you hash data from the web. My web's not attached, so the internet's not attached to my VMware. So some people have this box start up, and it shows you that you can start the Apache web server and MySQL. There's a little log box as well. And so you click on that. So I just minimize that. Now, a few things to note. Now, some of your computers may have IES running. That's the internal web interface, the internal web server from Microsoft, and so you can actually turn that off. And so, let me just quickly give you an update on the Windows services. So, if you ever want to turn on your web server called IES 6.0 or whatever on your machine, you have to first put it on. So you go to your control panels, and then you go to Add Remove Programs. Click on Add Remove Programs, and you're going to say Add Remove Windows Components, because this is a component that's not turned on when you actually when you first install Windows. You can turn this on from the get-go, or you can put it on later. So here I'm going to add Remove Windows Components. Click on the little button there. It's going to wait. Take a bite of my pretzel. And here on my screen, I have Internet Information Server called IES. Now, details, and I can turn on different pieces of IES as well. So I'll put that down here. So these are the basic things. You can turn on, put the FTP on the web server. You can put SMP webmail service. And so you see that the World Wide Web is actually clicked over here to be the actual World Wide Web service. So a web server is no more than just a process that runs in the background and listens on a port. So when you type in www.soandso.com, there's a machine out there called DNS, Domain Name Services, attaches a name to a IP address, which is pretty much all machines have IP address on the web, and then it goes to the machine and looks for a port number. And most web servers go to a certain IP and port number, like port 80, like the HTTP port, and so there's usually a firewall involved there, and the firewall only opens up port 80. The firewall is out there. It's like this big guard there, and only allows certain connections, and the major connection is only port 80. So, so what happens, so if someone makes a connection to your server, port 80 is open, it will go through the firewall, and then it will then make a connection to your web server. So what you do is you turn that on, you click on Information Services, and what else you click on here? If you want to click on Windows Messenger or some other BS stuff here, this is how you do it. So interesting, you can actually remove Internet Explorer from your machine by clicking on this. So you can get rid of Internet Explorer on your machine. Here and over there, that's not what the lesson is about. You can put other things on your machine. So you click on Next, and you may need to have the Windows DVD for that. Click on IES. Now, what happens is that within the admin tools, you see that on my screen, you got these admin tools. You're going to have a little thing called Internet Information Services. This is how you manage the IIS. So I click on that, and what we're going to see is this is version 6.0 of IIS. Very old version of IIS. So here, see, I have it turned off. Default website stopped. So if I press the start button, it will start the web server up. I don't want to start it because I want to use my Apache web server. So this is how to make the IIS turn on. You can use that as well. It's very simple to do IIS as well. So I'm going to turn that off. And when you turn on your IIS for the first time, it actually adds the services. So let's go to the services quickly. I'm going to click on the services button here. And those are things that run in your background. They're called, and, if you're ever on the Unix side, Linux side, they're called daemon processes. Those are what they're called ghost processes that run in the background. So when your machine starts up, it loads all these processes up. Print servers, this server, that server, all these little things that sit in the background. You'd be surprised. That's not pretty much all your time memory goes when you boot up. And so it's very important that when you launch IS or you have Apache running on your machine, you have to make sure that IS is actually turned off. So let's go to the IS part. So it's called World Wide Web. Let's go here. Where does it go? Windows. Where's it? Internet. Let's find it again. IS admin, that's where I started that, indexing services. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on manual. Web client. World Wide Web Publishing. I think that's it. So we're going to open it up. Here you go, that's it. So the snap in. So when that starts up, it's actually started for some odd reason. So what we do is we want to put it on manual. So when you install IS, you have to go back to the services and find World Wide Publishing and put it on manual. That means that you have to start up the IS server, so this doesn't affect your machine. So it's going to start up. So I'm going to turn it off right now. Click OK. So whenever your machine starts up, it loads all these services. If anything you need to stop, like for example, if you want to turn off anything, you'd go to the service and you click on manual or you stop it. And so what happens, with a side point with spam and malware, is that some of these things attach to these daemon processes, and they can write themselves in here too as well, and they get started up with the system. And so, if you run in Windows as the admin mode, if something harmful gets on your machine, could write themselves inside the services part, and you never know that because the machine starts up. A lot of harm it does. So never run yourself in the admin mode. And then standard services as well, but that's the key thing. So turn them off. IS, and then we launched EasyPHP. Now, EasyPHP is in your task tray. Now, what you can do is put your mouse over EasyPHP. You want to do a right mouse button click, and we're going to have this menu pop up. And so here is a right mouse button click. You'll see a basic memory help, log files, configuration of all the different files, Apache, PHP extension, MySQL, and PHP MySQL min. You have the Explorer, the administration page, the local web page, restart and stop. So we're going to go to the admin page. So we're going to click on admin, and we're going to launch it. And here is the basic home page. Now, please note a few things here, that the address of our server, HTTP 127.0.0.1 on port 8888. And so you can change all this stuff. So usually the host name, your machine, is always called localhost, or it's called this sort of a loopback, the localhost. So I'm going to type in, to see something, I'm going to put localhost up here, because your machine understands, don't see the home page. All right, so we'll just wait here, localhost. Okay, so if you put the host name localhost or 127.0.0.1, that's like a loopback number. It's all defined. It's set up inside your IP config file. Or what that means is that you set up a name that represents an IP number, sort of like a DNS we talked about. So if you ever want to find that, you go to System C Windows list. I'll just find a few and I'll show show you the name. I'll pop up the name here. Drivers, Etsy. Oh, hold on, I'll put that in here. So this is a location of a file called host file. And so in here, I'll show my host backup file because my one's really big. This is a host file, and it is always read by your computer that attaches IP addresses with names. So you see that the IP address, so if I type in www.http://localhost.com, it will give me the loopback equation. And all the computers know about this. It's built in that this loopback equation is this machine. And so pretty much DNS is like this sort of host file. It attaches a name to an IP address. So if you wanted to, in your home, set up your other computer's names, call it, sister one, brother one, you can actually set up a static IP on their machine and give it a name, and then put it in the host file. So you can say, you can reference that computer by IP address by a name there. So, but that's actually done, in terms of do a thing called DNS. Or, if you have a router in your house, you use DHCP, which gives an IP address automatically. But we can talk about another time if you're interested about that stuff. But that's pretty much what happens with the word localhost. It's 127.0.1. It's a loopback number that's built inside Windows that always go back to this computer. Now, this EasyPHP page is like the administration page for it. It tells me a few things. It tells me where's my EasyPHP installed, the name, port number, MySQL root name and password, the database port number, etc. And then tells me the different PHP numbers, Apache, MySQL, MySQLadmin. And then next is different things that are installed to EasyPHP and how to get them. So this line is I can click on these, I can manage MySQL PHP admin. PHP admin is a PHP program that actually administers the database. That means it says all hosting packages come with this package, with EasyPHP. It happens to be a great program. It's very simple to create a database once you know how to understand what databases are, how to create one, and we'll be doing that as well. And it's actually pretty slick. In terms of, you'll see how very simple to set up a simple database once you get there. But if you want to click on it, we just click on Manage MySQL with PHP admin. And a new window will pop up, and bickety bang, we'll see, the database. So this is how the database is up. So when you're at a job and say, hey, Abe, can your boss set up a database somewhere? You tell your server team, or you put it on, you find a machine on the network, you install EasyPHP, matter of fact, and I've done that many times in places that I worked. Is that I made a web interface, I made a little web page, I made MySQL and a PHP program, and people can actually pretty much store things on a database by using EasyPHP too, because you can actually tell when you put a web server on your machine, and you give a computer name. For example, as I said, if you're on the network at work, if you look at your computer name, you'll see my computer name is called WinXP3 over here. And so what you can do is you can go http://winxp3. And then you can give it the port number, and it'll go directly to the port number that your MySQL is actually running on, because it knows that. So your internal computer network knows that. And set up a database, and you do some pretty serious stuff on here. And then if you're in Excel on another person's machine, you can actually save Excel. You can actually query from Excel onto this MySQL server, matter of fact. It's pretty slick, using some of the Microsoft ODBC drivers, it's called. So we'll talk about it later. So here's how you make a database, pretty simple. So here I have two databases running, and that's all we're going to do today for databases, but the PHP MySQL is a standard amongst all hosting. And of course they have much easier ones, like MySQL has an application that runs, as a program, not as a web tool, that, you can create databases and admin databases. It's pretty simple. But just to get up and going, it's pretty simple. So we're just going to close this web page up. I'm going to go back to the PHP administration. And so here, basically, pretty much what's actually running on your web server. So I have all these different folders in my group. See over here, I've darkened up. So this is where it's running from. I'm running my Apache server directory, but pretty much on the web, it's when you open up the program. So let me make a new tab up here, and I'm going to type in, localhost. So let's go www. Let's go http://localhost. I got the caps on, bear with me. Localhost, and I'm going to give it a, so it's going to do a localhost. See, nothing's there on localhost. So if you just type that, let me just put what I typed inside the screen here. One second. So if everyone types that in your machine, you'll say you've got a blank page like I did, but you're going to have to put a port number because we're not using the standard port number that all machines look at. It's called port 80. So if I type in port 88, I have no index.html page. So pretty much what happened is the name is standardized in the practice. It's called index.html. If you have an index.html page, it will load that page up from the get-go on all web servers. So you see now in my main root folder, I have a bunch of folders here. So let me just get there so we can see what those look like in practice. COS, EasyPHP, www, and you see how these folders are exactly what I see here. So, and if you look, so SKD was my skateboard dude application. So here, we're going to now open this SLA up. So I put it under www.skd, and I'm going to open this up, and we're going to publish a web page, publish an HTML page. We're going to rename it to index.html. So when we type in HTTP localhost:888/skd, it's going to load up my game. And so in general, when you publish your application to the internet, all you do is you just have to publish out the SWF file here and the index.html and other files you have with it, which we'll talk about soon. And all you do is put that under your www when you have a hosting account. Or you can make a folder inside your www folder. So I'm going to pop up my /cs5 here. Bear with me. So here we got the basic thing we did. We're going to go File. We're going to go to our Publish settings under File. So I'll wait till we get to refresh on their screens. Publish settings under File. I click on that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the HTML wrapper section, and you see that says the output file over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it to index.html. So it's going to export index.html, and then you can set a bunch of stuff here on the movie, which we'll talk about another time. And we'll say we can click the OK button or Publish button. We'll click on the OK button. Then we're going to say File Publish. So File Publish, and you'll see publishing. And so let's take a look at the directory, and you'll see, lo and behold, we have index.html built for us already. Now, I'm going to close down my Flash. File Exit. I'll save changes. And now, what's going to happen now is that index.html will call the file. So I'm going to go on my web page, and I'm going to go skd. Click return, and it's going to load my skateboard program. So let me just put this inside of here. So now when you type in that Didn't get there yet. Everyone see stuff on the chat box from me? Alright, I guess it'll refresh yet. Okay, okay, so when you type in HTTP localhost /AFKD, it'll pop up your game. And you can set up how this pops up within your game here. So now it's running off my web server. So if I click on my button here, you see how the game is only limited to that certain scope. We'll talk about how to change that stuff. Here we go. I'm playing the game. I got a score point of 1. Now let's lose. Okay, game over. So this is running off my web server now. So there we go here. So we'll go back to the admin page. You'll see that the SKD folder, I click on the SKD folder, and I can launch the program as well. Same thing. And this is how you publish to the World Wide Web. It's that simple as taking your SWF, your index.html, and then putting them under your www folder on your on your web browser. Note that index.html is done by Adobe, but some key things to figure out. Let's open up index.html. So I'm going to use my handy dandy Edit Plus to go to the file here. And you'll notice some stuff here. You don't have to play with none of this stuff. Key thing here is that this title thing over here is that you can change the name of your website. Pops on by this thing called Skateboard Dude. I can call it here. Watch me go Skateboard Dude Abe. Let's put a space there. You can put Skateboard Dude, and also you can put some meta information about your website in there, so your search browsers will see that. So I can save this file. So this file is made by Adobe, which calls the SWF. So I'm going to close that up, and now watch this. If I go back to here, I go to a new tab, and let me pull it up again. SKD, and you look on the top left-hand corner, Skateboard Dude _Abe. So that's how you change things. Do stuff like that. So there you go. So we just published our first module on the web. And then alias and modules. Let's click on here. There's no alias set up, but we should have modules. I'm not calling it. So you can download and install modules to this is here as well. And that's pretty much it for Easy PHP. So what we're going to do is we're going to start learning some PHP, and then when we run PHP off the web, it actually gets the PHP the script language gets parsed and ran inside of the Apache web server, and that's the beauty of PHP. Simple, it's nice, etc. And then it all works with an SQL. So let's just get started. Any questions before we get started? I need a drink of water. Any questions? Hit the chat box. Now hold your peace. Because it's a no. Let me take a drink of water. We are back. So, just like every file on your computer has an extension, like TXT is a text file, DOC is a Word doc, XLS is an Excel file, PHP has a syntax called .php. So if you look at a PHP file with edit, notepad, etc., pretty much this is how it looks. You have a PHP, and then you have a closing of PHP. That's how it looks. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to write out a file called highscores.xml. So here's what our high score file is going to look at. So XML is pretty simple to understand. It's a markup language. It tells me that I have scores, a collection of scores, and each score I have a name and a number. And you get pretty complicated on how XML should be looking. But I have scores, so you see the plural S over here. And then I have a score. I have 4 scores and name and number. So Bob M, Nancy, Betty, and Ed B have different scores for the game. So what we can do is we can have PHP. I'm going to run PHP for a second. Make this file. Very funny. Someone has a joke. So here is PHP. It sort of looks a little crazy, but it's a very simple style language. And you see that in PHP you need to have these open and closure brackets. That's like Torah Sinai. Given. You know that there's an Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You need to put these down in a PHP file. It's Torah Sinai. It's not going to work. It won't compile. So here I made an array of people. So in a real world application, that data would come from the database. But here I'm just hard coding it. So what's going to happen is that my Flash game is going to call to this PHP file and then load stuff up. So in this situation, I've hard coded this array in the people. And so right now I'm going to make an XML file. So this is how I make an XML array. XML data equals the scores. And then this over here, my friends, if you do some programming, \n means new line. That's how I make a new line in the file. So I'm going to loop around the count of this data here. This array. And I'm going to loop around that. Basic loop. So every variable needs a $sign in front of it. And, for many programming languages, there's a semicolon. So loop around the count of the data. And I'm going to print. So when you want to print something, you go dot equals, meaning, remember how we had that last time, it appends to the previous. It's like a plus equals 1, a equals a plus 1, so it's going to append the previous. So you see here, I'm going to be printing score, the name, I'm going to represent the array in here, and then put the slash name with the /n at the back. And then after I finish the loop, I'm going to close it up with the scores. I'm going to put a header. I'm going to then say, put the header there, and then print XML data. So when you're done with that, we're going to minimize that up. And then what we're going to do is we're going to open up our web browser quickly. And then, where is that stuff up? We're going to go to... Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. All right, that's the actual thing over here. But if you see over here, we're going to actually call that file right over here. Bear with me for a second. Let me get the file name here. And let's go PHP. And somebody's pop this in my browser. So here, we're going to call load PHP, and what it's going to do is going to actually make actually going to call PHP, and we're going to put that in our web over here. The things that we don't see in the background, we don't see the XML stuff that we see on the screen here. That's because I didn't use the proper XML notation over here for things like UTF stuff here. So we'd have to put that in the file. So on the XML data piece over here, we have to put some heading over there and tell. But since we're just sending data back and forth to Flash, we don't have to be totally XML, compliant as this is going on a web. Like in other words, in the web page, when we view XML, I don't know if you've seen XML on web pages, that there's usually a whole XML structure here. You'd see different things with the XML. But for our sending stuff back and forth to Flash, we don't have to be so perfect over here. So that's pretty much what PHP and XML work together very nicely, is that we can create, we can send data back and forth to its XML or other pieces over here. Such an easy way. So pretty much we'd call the database. On the database, we would create this XML structure that pretty much mirrors our high-scores XML file over here. See how there's XML versions on there? So if I open this file out of a browser, watch what will happen. What's at home? Okay, 1 second. See that with the proper XML notation here. I sent it over the web over here. Oh, no, it's not. You see that I put XML version 1.0, is that the browser knows how to interpret this data as being XML and displays the XML tags. And so it's actually pretty impressive. So if I were to put that XML, what's this? See how that, see a little open parentheses back XML version 1? Our PHP is very similar to that in terms of how it parses it. So let's bring up the PHP there. And so we can do like this, or we can go, let's just go like this. What we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to put that in over here, Control V, XML data is equal to that, but we're going to put a quote around it. Or you have to put like a slash in front of it. Copy like that, something like that. And another one for this. So I think that tells the machine. Was it backslash here before? I forgot. To put quotes around. I forgot that exact type sequence there. But then we'll do is we'll put like we'll put a new line at the end of it. And new line at the end of it, and then we'll just put a dot here to append that. So here too on scores, we'll just add a line there. So that's that. So we can actually run this now. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Syntax error on line 13. So I think something's wrong with these things over here, but let's not worry about that. So right now is we're going to open up Flash right now, and we're going to learn how to create a list box to open up and actually read from this, call this and read and get the PHP file. So just to let you know how it looks in practice, let's just launch the browser. You launch the browser, and I'm going to say load from PHP. Over there, I'm going to click on return, and the index.html will pop up. And then here's what we're actually going to see is example loading XML on Flash. I'm going to click on this load store data. So I'll load the data up from the PHP file. I click on it, and look at that. I see the high scores in there. And you'll see this is pretty simple to do. So this is what we're going to do today in our project, is create this FLA. And then once we got this FLA, we're going to pretty much, once we got this FLA, we'll pretty much put this inside of our project. So let's store. So let's just go close the window up. Let's launch load XML.FLA, which I'll send to you guys. So we'll load up this. So the reason why I'm doing this separately is because, your other skateboard thing is, it's a little too complicated. A lot of stuff in there, so if I make each project different, then we can put them together so we can see how everything fits together. And so here, let me go to my timeline. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make another Flash application here. So we have two layers called actions and assets. And in the assets, we're gonna pretty much add these components here. So we're not going to actually do this today, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So basically, we're going to take the classic text. Any questions? Okay. Any questions before I go? So we're going to quickly create this this application that will load up stuff into a grid box. So here we go. Is that we're going to take a text. Classic text with my points at the T. I'm going to create this thing called example loading XML file here on the top side over here. And then put in loading XML file. We are going to then create, what we can make a text box here. We're going to take a data grid component and convert it into a symbol. So, watch what I do now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to Windows. Where's my project? My toolbars, 1 second. Got a long day. Components. So Windows components, we're going to navigate to that. And then we'll see all my components here. Is that I'm going to take a data grid component, which is the one I highlighted. And I'm going to drag it to the screen. Yeah, so the component that name already exists in the library, I have one already. So drag it there, right? And then we're going to convert that into a movie clip. So basically when I say convert the symbol. And I called it store.dg. So store data. But what we're going to do is we're going to access that movie clip to store stuff in our data grid. That's why we need to make it a symbol. So we can actually convert it to a symbol. And then we're going to add a button. And the button is a basic button that we get from here. We drag a button on the screen and then we convert that to a symbol. And you'll see something about buttons. Let's go to edit. Add the buttons very quickly. No, that's not what I wanted to show you. Let me close that button out. Oh, what happened here? I was to close the project out by accident. So we got that back up there. All the components on the page. I added a button to the page. I dragged the button on there. We named it. Called it call button. Basically how we do other stuff beforehand. Put that away for a second. And now we're going to go to our actions. You want to insert keyframe, and then want to go to actions. And then here's all the magic. So a couple things. Since this is only a one-frame video, a one-frame frame, you have to put stops here because it doesn't make a difference. But we'll just put stops here anyways. So we have two functions. Two functions here. And we're going to first tell you what XML file we're going to load, called highscores.xml. We're going to load the XML file here. And then we're going to say, once someone clicks on the call button, call server. The call server is a piece of code. And this is very common in terms of Adobe projects. Is that you have to first create a new URL request. And then you have to create a loader. And you have to tell the loader and event listener when it completes call the XML load. And then loader.load URL request. They break it up into a bunch of different layers here. Because you can do a lot of things with these things, but this is a common thing, is that you make a URL request. Now, important note on security. When you load files from your HTTP, you don't have to have any type of security on there. But if you load a file from another web place, like www.wherever.com, it won't let you load those things up into Flash because there's a thing called a security or /sandbox violation, meaning that you can harm anyone's computer by loading stuff inside their memory. So, but only safe files to load are files that are in your www. So it lets you load files within your www folder. So here, since high scores are exactly in my file, high scores are in my file. I'm going to load up the XML file. I'm going to say make a new URL request XML file. It's not using the PHP file here. I'll change it around. But new URL loader. Add event listener for the function XML loaded, and then load the URL request. Now, when that event is finished, it's going to call event complete XML loader, which is the function below it. And I'm going to say URL loader e.target, get the loader there for something. So what I needed it for, get the data from the loader. So the loader data is the XML data from the file. I create a new XML object. And so I have a data grid component there. Let's take a look at it. Let me see here. Bear with me for 1 second. Sorry about that. Hold on. Sorry. What do I call a data grid for? Hold on. It's a native name for it. One second. Data grid. Cancel. So here, the name data grid, which is the basic name of that, I guess, is used. You don't have to convert it to a movie clip to make it a symbol. But if you want to act on that window by making it disappear, you would say, store.dg.alpha equals 1, but you can act on that. You couldn't act on the data grid as being a symbol. You have to convert it. But the name of the data grid that we had was called data grid. And here is, and so I attach the variable data grid. I attach the MC to it. Oh, let me hold on 1 second. I need to get my head back in this game here. So just scratch what I told you. So I attach the symbol to, I could tell them that this data grid component is of symbol store DG. This is to make it a symbol. So it tells me that what's on my screen is called store DG, because I'm naming a variable called data grid. So here, I'm going to add 2 columns called name and score. To data grid, I'm going to remove all the data. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my XML here, and I'm going to just take out the score. So here I'm going to iterate over each of the score items, and you see it goes item.name 2-string and item.number 2-string, and that's pretty much what's in my XML file. So those things could convert the string automatically for me, and then I say datagrid.addItem. Key thing here, this is how we do the association of arrays here. The first number is the name. Fall asleep on you guys. So here you have to. I can make my machine blow up, but here that we have a curly Q. Name would be the column name, and then colon the data item above it, and then comma score would be the name of the column, and that's the data associated with it. So you're going to add those to there, and that's pretty much it. So when I go control, test movie, I don't know if you're going to watch it. Let's see if it's going to work. See, it loaded stuff in there. The reason why it loaded stuff in there is our 1 second. We are going to go to the publish settings. I'm going to go HTML wrapper. What did I want to show you? Where was that? Yeah, so here, local playback, access local files only. So if I have those local files within my directory, you can access those. So you can actually click on access network only, meaning it will only take that launch the Swift player and launch network files only, but here it's local access files, and turn on hardware acceleration. So click on cancel, and so when I run it, excellent. And that's all what it takes to actually publish, to read data. So, test movie, and so that's it. So let's see. I click on load store data. It's going to read that XML file. And that's the first piece. And loading an XML file or loading a PHP file, it's all done the same way, pretty much. What the PHP is going to do is actually generate the XML data to be sent to the Flash file, and then we'll do that in a few minutes. I need to go to the bathroom for a few minutes, so I'm just going to put you on hold. Bear with me for a few minutes. Any questions? Put some questions on the chat while I'm gone. Hello. Sorry about that. I haven't gone to the bathroom since about 5:30 today. Sorry about that. Crazy day at work. All right. Okay, we're still on. Any questions so far? Excuse me. Okay. Too much info. TMI. I hear ya. You gotta bear with me. I get up at 4 o'clock every morning to get to work. Okay. Any questions so far? Because we're gonna get to some of the fun stuff. I mean, you guys have the PHP. It's pretty simple. Let me just show you something else for PHP because it gets pretty simple. Hold on, just show you a good book. So here's some simple, easy PHP stuff. Simple PHP programs. You can Google this on the web. I mean, there's tons of PHP stuff out there. And so you can pretty much go on the web and find anything you want to on PHP. So I won't spend too much time on PHP. You'll see it's actually pretty simple. And so just to let you know, if we were loading from a database, let me just show you what that looks like. Load high scores from a database. Pretty much, this is how we load from a database. Take some stuff out of there. Let me just fix this up here. Hold on. So pretty much, we'd call MySQL Connect localhost root, since our MySQL has no passwords on there. Connect. Let's put test on here. We're going to connect a table test using a link variable, querying select star from high scores table. Run the MySQL query. The result, and then we're going to loop through the result, and then we're going to print out the XML pretty much. And you're pretty impressed with that, the same way that our database array stuff gets back there. This is pretty much how it's actually going to look. So it's pretty simple, but here, we just got to put the row name in there as opposed to this. So it's actually pretty much the same way. And we can print out XML this way. So a lot of this stuff that I got from, there's actually a great book out there, which I have a copy for the code for, but this is pretty much where I went on. Do you have a disconnect from DB anywhere? And actually, good question. So Zev asked, do we have a disconnect from the database afterwards? The answer is it happens automatically. You can actually put one there, but it's going to happen automatically. So you can actually tell. I think there's some MySQL stuff in that you can do it, but it will actually do it. It would actually do it automatically for you. And there's ways of how to keep that connection opened for multiple requests as well. It's actually pretty impressive. You can the variables mask the field names in DB. Yes. So particular, we'll go through that in a minute, but pretty much we have the row name and number over here pretty much goes into the I mentioned the database table. So you guys know the thing about what your database table is. So we'll actually get there, but this is pretty much how you read from a database. And so, just imagine you send some information over press a button, you read some stuff off your web page, and you can have a form, which I'll show you in a minute, to do that, and then you'll receive them over here, call the database, and do some other stuff, and then send stuff back to it. And that's pretty much all that PHP does. And so here's a simple form contact. Here's writing does an email. So here's actual PHP. This is actually, when you send it, what it actually does email. So from the form I send from the HTML page, from the page on the screen, you can send over a few variables, and we'll see how that's done in Flash. But here I send 4 variables over: name, from, mail, subject, and message. And so if my post, we'll talk about what that means, is not empty, let's go and do some stuff. So the headers of the emails are blank to date. I make an email info, that's like the area. We have from, reply to, all that stuff in email. Like when you use the email is built into PHP, the web server. Email to, subject, info, and mail headers. And that's actually, pretty much it to send some email. And that's what PHP needs for that stuff. So we can send stuff to PHP using the post method. That's something in HTML that we'll be using in Flash to send information over. You pick up the variables, you act on them, call it a database or something, and you send stuff back to Flash over XML. And it works out pretty good. So that's that's actually one piece here. It has its own SMTP server. So I'm assuming that's a good question. Someone asked if it has an SMTP server. EasyPHP doesn't have it, but you can actually put one in. But we're using a snap over here. We're using extension. I think you can put one in there. So here, I'm not expecting that, but we can actually add extensions here. So here's some stuff. So on our, these are extensions you can add to your EasyPHP. So you can run some pretty serious stuff here, so you just have to load those up. Let's see what's got here. All these things, let's select XML, Apache Handler, calendar stuff, FTP stuff. There's got a mail some here. One of these are mail. I'm not sure what they're called, but you can put mail on here as well. Or maybe not. But there's got to be a way to hook up mail here. So that's how you hook up other functionalities here. Yeah, third. So that's the key thing with PHP. From DB. And so, what happened here? Let's bear with me for 1 second. I lost my PHP. Here you go. So here, basically, we're going to call the PHP program. We're going to pretty much put, scores and it reads from the table. We're going to make this, XML send back to Flash. Okay, so let's open Flash. Uh-oh. Lost screen. Yes. I'm down for a second. 1 second. I lost my IP. I got rebooted again. That's not my IP. Hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. My Windows. So my Windows went down again. My Windows shut down. I'm sorry. I'll try to get us back up. Bear with me. Let me get an IT person here. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about this. Hello? Can anyone hear me? I'm on my work network over here, and I got kicked off my IP here. So this is my Macintosh. So I'm starting up in a second. I guess at least an IP address just for use my Mac to go out. So just give me a few minutes. They're gonna get me another one. Any questions? Yeah, we'll stay later. It's not a problem. Should be coming any second now. Why are they not? One second. Hold on. Okay, give me a few seconds. 1 second, I'm sorry. Back. I have to answer is yes over there. I'm still waiting to get an IP address from my when I run VMware on my Mac, I need a separate Mac address. Whatever. VMware has to run as a separate PC, separate things on my computer, as well as my Mac has its own way of getting on the computer as well. So bear with me. IT's not around here and I'm still at work. Let me see if I can put, hold on. Let's do it that way. Let's go that way. So give me a few minutes here. We're here to extend the programs. So someone asked a question here. Yeah, I'll send all the scripts afterwards. Everything. I'll send all these things here afterwards. Key things here. The scripts got to run all through easy PHP. So someone says, I'm correct, assuming the entire magic of running MySQL to PHP is just 3 functions: MySQL connect, selecting DB, and query. That's it. That's how you get stuff out of the database. That's it. And just dumping them on the XML route, and then you just print it out. And that's actually pretty much all it is. And you see, it's really, really easy. That's all it is. I just if I can just get my freaking thing up. I'm not too happy with. So if you guys don't mind waiting, I'm still here. Yes, there's actually a great book. Let me see if I can find it. It's actually called Flash Bible. That's really, really good. And they'll tell you how to do everything. I mean, that's where I actually learned it from. Killing me. I gotta go make a phone call to the IT department because it's taking their merry old time. Excuse me. Hello? Sorry about that. I went to the bathroom and they're still not either got their acts together here. So we can hang on until they got their acts together, and this is killing me over here. I don't know what the hell's going on here. All the IT people sort of left, so I have to make a phone call to one. As well, if you guys want to call tonight, let me know. I can hang on because I have to call some guy IT support on their home on the support line. So do 2 more minutes. He's logging into our network to get me up and going. So I'll be happy to wait with you guys if you want to wait. Actually, my family's not around tonight, but thank you very much. It's actually in Long Island. Whatever you guys want to do, I am happy to wait here for 5 more minutes. I'm sure they do their act. So just give it 2 more minutes. If you guys want to hang around, welcome to hang around. Sort of enjoying a few different things right now, quoting a few different lines of something else. Okay, thank you. So give me a few more minutes here, and then we should be good. I'm going to give him a call again. All right, we should be up in 1 second. Is everyone still around? Ooh. Is there an alternate to Flash Pro that I can install that doesn't pay for? I think you're running, so first question, quick question. So what happened was you're actually running Flash Master Collection, not Flash Pro. Flash Pro, I think, is about not too much in terms of space. So yeah, you're running Flash Master Collection, so that's why you're having problems. Okay, we'll be up in 1 minute. I just got a phone call back from those dudes, and they're more than happy to assist us. All right. So we should be good. So give them a few seconds. Start my windows up. Okay, I got something there. One second, let me just get my stuff back online here. Okay, let me share here. Can you guys see anything that's going on now? Can you see my machine? Oh, that's interesting. Flash text spec 3.5. Oh, you can see my machine? Okay, here it goes. Good, good. Man. So slow today, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on one second. Okay, we're back up to Windows. Let me get EasyPHP started. Launching EasyPHP, C, OS, P. Okay, let me just get some quick stuff. So someone said, one second. Someone said they're able to install Adobe products / tax specs, simplifying available hard disk space, additional free space. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. That's 3.5 gigabytes. Let me just take a look. Look at my screen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm running program files with Adobe here for a quick second. Adobe Flash CS5. What's the properties? 100 megabytes. See how big my whole Adobe directory is here. Shouldn't be 5 gigabytes. No, it can't be 5 gigabytes. It's got to be less than. Okay, here's my whole Adobe program. Maybe 1 or 2 gigabytes. You need to clean out your temp. Yeah, it's not a gigabyte, the whole Adobe directory. So, plus your stuff. So you need. I don't know what 3.5 is. When you install Adobe, just install the bare minimum. You probably have too much on your disk. Clean out your temp files, your Windows temp files, and you'll see a lot of stuff on there. So in the Windows directory, you have temp folder stuff in there. So you gotta give me a call this week to help clean out your computer to get you installed. So okay, just getting back to what we're doing over here. Load up over here. So in the meantime, I made this a little easier for you guys. Okay, so where was I? So we pretty much changed the load-high-scores.php piece. I actually modified some of these pieces to put the proper headings on there, so but I put echoes on there. It's just easier to see. Okay, so this is a key thing. So in the meantime, my guys fixed up this piece is very important. Scores. I used echo instead of writing to a file, and we'll use the file buffers later. But this is a good way of doing it. And echo scores. And now, watch this. We can have this run from the. So let's go to local web. Let's go to load from PHP, and so I got this running now. And so here it goes. So it actually loads from the file over here. But just to show you something else, let's just load from the file. We can pretty much take this over here, copy, let's put this right on here. Here. And you can see we got all the proper goodies that we had beforehand. It's just better to debug your program that way. Now, key things here, you see it's nothing really changed here in terms of what we did over here. We just changed the PHP thing. Nothing from this changed, like in terms of what we did over here. So it's actually pretty good that we made a PHP. Now, something to note, when you test your PHP stuff, you can't run it over here inside of Flash. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? It's a very key thing. It says XML parser failure because there is The issue is there is no web server running your PHP thing, so nothing's really coming back from PHP. You can load up an XML file into PHP, but you can't load you can't launch a PHP because that's programming language, and actually programming language needs a web server. So see how we'll keep getting that thing because there's no really XML stuff. So this is why we have to test it out within our browser. So let's just go over here, and we go to publish, and look at that, and load data, and there you go. So you're actually loading data into your ODs in PHP, which is pretty cool. Now, that's one piece. Now, pretty much database stuff is all the same after this. So what we pretty much do is we're going to scrape this piece out that's underlined. We're going to attach to a database, and to answer a question above, we have to. You can actually run a, besides the connect, the select, the piece over there, and the query piece. You can actually also do a MySQL close the link too as well if you want to. It will happen automatically, but it's good practice. We'll show you in a minute. So let me just open another file up here on the DB section. Oh, it's the same freaking file. And so here we can go like this. Hold on. We'd say MySQL. And I put close. And then we can just put the link here that we got. It's good practice to do that. You don't have to, but that's pretty much all we do is we just we add these pieces over here, and this piece over here, and we can get from the database. You see, like we just got to change these pieces over here to use row.name and row.number. Syntax stays the same, and just add all the MySQL stuff, and we're good to go on the databases. So let's just quickly do a quick database refresh for everyone, and then we can get the databases up. Any questions on the XML piece? You see what I did? I didn't put any in the code. I didn't put any events in here not to keep on publishing and adding. So it's pretty cool. So any questions on this piece over here? So I'll close that out. And we'll launch a database. So where to go? Now, has anyone done any database programming ever? I need some serious answers here. And have not done any databases before. Oh, geez, someone's pretty serious on the database. And we should be teaching that part of the course. So let's just get there pretty quick. So, did you know anyone else? No experience databases. Okay, Foxborough. Okay, good. People got some good stuff in there. Okay, so we got some. Does anyone have no knowledge of them? Okay, good. People have some basic. Okay, good. People got some serious stuff there. Probably much more than I have here. I have a team of guys who do the databases with me at my workplace. That do all those things that you guys have done for many years. It just makes sense. All right, so pretty simple stuff. So anyone, so let's say we have a test database here. Let's see here. Let me just drop some table found database. So here's test. Okay. So here we are going to create a new table. We're going to call it high scores. I'm going to type in high scores. If I spell that right, and I'm going to put 2 fields. We'll put 3 fields, and I'll tell you why. So once I set up the high scores table, So someone's leaving the class. Yeah, you can just get the class of the thing over here, and I'll send all this stuff out too as well. So pretty much need to leave the class. Well, I guess we'll go to 9 o'clock. So pretty much I'm going to set up a table with 3 fields, and I'm going to click on the Go button. And then what do you know? Look at that. We got this table thing over here, and we're going to set up a few fields here. And so the first field we are going to call ID. Is everyone sort of with me? Man, am I tired. Okay. Anyway, so how many still people are in the class? We'll just keep on going till 9 o'clock. And so we're going to have a name over here. We're going to have a thing called a variable character. Okay, so we'll just keep on going. So here we're going to have a name called ID over here. We're going to make it not null. How do we make it not null? Let's see, default is none. So where's my null? Default is no. We don't care, but none. I guess not null. It's fine. Auto increment. We're fine. This is pretty much. We're going to make an ID over here for the ID of table, which is auto increment. I mean, that's like the. It's called the. What's the word for the key index? I'm not a big database person, as you can tell, but I just use it. This is called the primary key, and we can put we can index it. I guess we're unique. Index unique primary. We'll call that primary index primary, and then we'll call this name. Second one name of our character. We'll call it like maybe 255 in length. So that, and then we'll put the number over here, and then put number over there, and usually only put numbers and numbers. Okay, like value, I guess that's it. And then this could be. Oh, just 1 second, guys. Okay. I'm still here. Where I'm doing it for the class here, the OU class. Oh, okay, yeah. Can I call you back in a little bit? Yeah. I know. I'll probably go back home today. So let me call you. I'm in the middle of the course. Okay, let me call. I'm in the middle of the course. Let me call you back in a little bit. Bye. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Don't check the no box. Okay. Thank you very much. So here's number, and I think that's it. So once we create these things over here, we'll click on the Go button, and then we have a table over here. And here's my table high scores. And so let's just go to test over here. Let's actually go. We're going to go to we're going to say import. How do we import here? Structure privileges table. Let's go test. SQL search structure. No table found. What happened here? I think I lost my table here, ladies and gentlemen. Huh, what happened here? So high scores, number of fields, let's just put 2, and we'll go from there. Go. Misspelled. Oh yeah, thanks. High scores. See, if I can do databases, which is not my field, anyone can do databases. Alright, let's just call it, we'll call this ID. I guess that's auto implement. And we'll call this name. We have to add a number here. Name, we'll just call varchar 255. And let's just call this save. We'll add one field. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, set the index. I think I did set the index on that one. Let's add one. Let's add a field at the end of the table after name. So I'm going to add something to the end of the field, and we'll call it number. And hold on, I'll get that for you in a second. And I think that's it. Let's go save. Someone said we need to save a index here. Let's just edit something over here. Where is the edit button? So default auto increment. We want to set the attributes. Let's see, what default no. So line type, I think we're good. So set index, I think we're good here. Default should be that. Int, I think we're good there. What's an index earlier? I think we're fine for ID. No, I think we're fine. Looks okay, good. Got the word. Alright, so once we go there, we're going to save it. And what we'll do now is we'll do some inserting. See, now we have to insert some stuff here. Alright, so let's just do let me add some stuff here. So I think we go to where's the insert button here? Let me open this up a little bit. Publishing values, no commit none. View, add indexes. So we need to add some stuff here. Insert. There you go. So name, we're going to call myself, we'll call this Ed. And he has a score of 10, 19. And then we'll call Bobby. Spelled it wrong. So we press the button, insert, and Bobby has, we'll call that 10. And we'll say go. So we just added some more stuff on there. Alright, let's take a look at the table. So we did some insertions. Let's just browse the table. Okay, let's go to our structure. And so here, select score from high score. When we click on SQL, you'll go. Yeah, there you go, Ed and Bobby. There's a way I was going to ask them here, but I just forgot about doing this. So pretty much we have two people here. Now let's just quickly go to our load from DB. Let's go to highscores.db. Let me make sure I got this. Root, select start from high scores. We want to get the, I think that's test. I think we called that. Yes, test. So we're going to go start from high scores, blank XML data. Let me just, let's do this. And plus, just copy this. I'm going to put these on top of this file. So let's put them over here. Right there. And then we're going to just copy some of those things to that file. Paste over here. Now we're just going to say connect from localhost linked. Select start from high scores. Query. Let's just get some stuff from the query. We're going to do it very simple. Going over here. I'm going to use the echo piece here. And we're going to say that, and then we're going to put name. Well, it should just go after the number of rows you fetch here. So I think that will do it. Hold on, let me just take a look. Hold on. Let's just put that in here. Let's replace that with that. Paste the row name, and then we'll paste the row number. And that should give us for that. But you see how easy this is, ladies and gentlemen? It's like you don't have to be a genius to get this going. And a lot of major websites, companies use PHP, and it's simple to go back and forth. So here we go, and then we want to go after we echo. We can just say we can say MySQL closed $link. We'll give it a save, but just always remember, we have to run this from the browser because it's not going to happen because it needs to be compiled. So let's just see if this works. Let's go here. That's that. Home. And go to test 1. Wrong test. Oh, what happened there? Load from DB. Let's just load that file. Load from DB. Hold on, I need to get the name of the file again. Load high scores. There you go. Okay, that's good. Let's see. Unexpected variable on line 8. So once again, we're back in the business here. Line 8. Let's take a look. Oh, got to put a semicolon there. Go back there. Once again. There you go. Look at that. Now all we have to do now is hook that piece up to our Flash. So we're going to do over here, close that up, and then we're going to open this window over here from MyDB. So we're going to take the Swift we just made over here, and then copy it from here into there. So we have a Swift over there. Let me get something else I was working on. So here, let's go load from DB, and then let's just call load, and there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we just hit our database with all the goodies here. So that's it. So that's all we have to do to load that stuff over here from the database. And so I'll fix this bug up too. I'll show you how to fix this bug up in terms of loading, clearing. But in terms of calling from a database, we have a little PHP tonight. Sorry about this array. We'll go over this again. in many classes you would like extra here. Add order by num description. I put a count of those. So and okay. If there's many, I guess that's a good point. We put a counter in there or an ID. We can actually do that too as well. But I'll send both these things out as well here. And so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, bro. That's interesting. Some good SQL tips here in PHP. You see how it's that easy to do stuff in PHP. You become a maven in PHP overnight. A little basic SQL, MySQL admin with the PHP stuff. Tons of good stuff here. You see how easy it is in terms of doing some really good damage. But you can run some serious databases here, and I can show you how to read some variables on the post side. And it's so easy to intercept data, and you can go back and forth very easily like this. Data back and forth with some really complex processing. And it's going to be pretty quick. If we want to make it faster, we're going to go into a thing called AMF PHP, which is a remoting package for Adobe, but runs on top of PHP. It's very light, and it's actually very, very good. Much faster it will send the PHP in an AMF format, which is a binary format of Adobe products. It goes really quick. But this is very quick. You see how quick we did it over the web. It's so slower than a web page, and how it happens in the background. So I will send all this stuff over. Sorry about all the problems we have tonight. Gets me angry. I don't know why my machine timed out a number of times. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions? Just email me. And if everyone's calling me regarding your machines, we can actually hop on your machine or something through WebEx and figure it out if you need any assistance. Just send me an email and we'll try to get on your machine here. I'm gonna turn off my computer tonight, so if there's any problems, see what the problem was. But stop sharing. Thank you very much, and hope all is well. And have a good night. Bye bye.